Have you ever wondered why you're eating less, exercising more, and still not losing weight? What if I told you some of the foods you eat every single day are secretly blocking your fat loss, no matter how hard you try? Many people struggle with weight loss not because they eat too much, but because the foods they eat every day quietly work against their body. Some of the most common foods found in kitchens, restaurants, and packaged meals trigger powerful hormonal reactions that block fat burning. When you consume these foods regularly, your body is pushed into fat storage mode, even if you believe you're eating normally or controlling portions. The biggest issue is insulin, the hormone responsible for managing blood sugar. When insulin rises too often or too high, your body stops burning stored fat and starts saving energy instead. Foods high in refined sugar, white flour, and heavily processed ingredients cause rapid spikes in insulin, followed by crashes that make you hungry again soon after eating. This leads to constant cravings, frequent snacking, and overeating without realizing it. These foods are dangerous because they don't keep you full for long. They digest quickly, leaving your stomach empty while your brain signals hunger again. This creates a cycle where you eat more calories throughout the day, even if individual meals don't seem large. Over time, this pattern slows metabolism and trains your body to expect quick energy rather than using stored fat. Many of these foods also interfere with leptin, the hormone that tells you when you're full. When leptin signaling is disrupted, you can eat plenty of food and still feel unsatisfied, which makes weight loss feel impossible. What makes this problem worse is that many of these foods are marketed as harmless or even healthy. Items labeled as light, diet, fitness, or low-fat often contain hidden sugars and refined carbohydrates that trigger the same fat-storing response. People trust these labels and consume them daily, unaware that their efforts are being undone at a hormonal level. Instead of supporting weight loss, these foods quietly increase inflammation, water retention, and fat accumulation, especially around the belly. The real challenge is that these foods don't cause immediate visible damage, so the connection between diet and stalled weight loss isn't obvious. The scale doesn't move, energy stays low, and motivation drops, leading people to blame themselves rather than the food choices. Once these everyday trigger foods are removed, hunger becomes easier to control, energy levels improve, and the body finally feels safe enough to release stored fat, allowing weight loss to happen naturally and consistently without extreme dieting or constant willpower battles. Sugar, refined carbohydrates, and liquid calories are some of the most powerful obstacles to fat loss because of how quickly they enter the bloodstream and disrupt the body's natural balance. When you consume sugary foods or refined carbs, your blood sugar rises rapidly, forcing the body to release large amounts of insulin to bring it back down. Insulin's primary job is to move sugar out of the blood and into cells, but when there is more sugar than the body immediately needs, insulin directs that excess straight into fat storage. The more often this cycle happens, the harder it becomes for the body to access stored fat for energy. Instead of burning fat, the body becomes dependent on frequent sugar hits to function throughout the day. Liquid calories make this problem even worse because the body doesn't process them the same way it processes solid food. Sugary drinks pass through the stomach quickly, providing calories without triggering fullness signals. You can drink hundreds of calories in a few minutes and still feel hungry, which leads to eating even more food on top of those calories. Soft drinks, sweetened teas, energy drinks, and even fruit juices create sharp insulin spikes without offering fiber, protein, or lasting satiety. Over time, this constant insulin elevation trains the body to store fat more efficiently, especially in the abdominal area. Refined carbohydrates like white bread, white rice, pastries, and pasta behave almost the same way as sugar in the body. The fiber has been stripped away, so digestion happens rapidly, causing quick energy followed by a crash. That crash triggers cravings, irritability, and fatigue, making it harder to control food choices later in the day. This cycle often leads to mindless snacking and late-night eating, which further slows weight loss progress. What makes these foods especially dangerous is how normalized they are in daily life. They appear in breakfast cereals, snacks, beverages, and even meals marketed as healthy. Because they don't always cause immediate weight gain, people continue consuming them, unaware that fat burning is being quietly switched off. Once sugar, refined carbs, and liquid calories are reduced, hunger stabilizes, cravings fade, and the body begins to rely on stored fat for energy, allowing weight loss to happen more smoothly and naturally over time. Processed, fried, and fast foods are specifically designed to override the body's natural hunger and fullness signals, which is why they are so damaging for weight loss. These foods combine refined carbohydrates, unhealthy fats, and high levels of salt in a way that makes them extremely pleasurable to eat, but very poor at providing real nourishment. When you consume these foods, your brain lights up with reward signals that encourage you to keep eating, even when your body has already had enough. This leads to overeating without conscious awareness, making calorie control feel almost impossible over time. Fried foods are especially problematic because of the oils used in cooking. Many fast food and restaurant items are fried in highly processed vegetable oils that become unstable at high temperatures. These oils promote inflammation in the body, which interferes with insulin sensitivity and slows down metabolism. When inflammation is high, the body struggles to burn fat efficiently and becomes more likely to store energy as fat instead. Fried foods are also extremely calorie-dense, meaning small portions contain a large number of calories that add up quickly. Fast food meals are often oversized and engineered for maximum taste rather than balance. A single meal can contain more calories than the body needs for an entire day, along with very little fiber or protein to promote fullness. This causes blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes that trigger hunger shortly after eating. The result is a pattern of frequent eating and constant cravings that makes sustained weight loss very difficult. Processed foods also contain preservatives, additives, and artificial flavor enhancers that can disrupt gut health. A compromised gut affects digestion, nutrient absorption, and hormone regulation, all of which play a role in body weight. When gut bacteria are out of balance, hunger hormones become dysregulated, making you feel hungry even when you've eaten enough. Over time, reliance on processed and fast foods trains the body to crave them, while natural, whole foods feel less satisfying, locking people into a cycle that prevents fat loss and keeps the body in a constant state of metabolic stress. Many foods labeled as healthy, low-fat, or diet-friendly create a false sense of security that can quietly ruin weight loss progress. When fat is removed from food, taste and texture are usually lost, so manufacturers compensate by adding sugar, refined starches, artificial sweeteners, and chemical flavorings. While these products appear lighter on the label, they often trigger stronger insulin responses than their full fat counterparts. This insulin spike pushes the body toward fat storage rather than fat burning, making these so-called diet foods counterproductive for weight loss. Low-fat yogurts, biscuits, snacks, and desserts are common examples. They are often consumed more freely because people believe they are making a smart choice, which leads to larger portions and more frequent snacking. Without enough fat or protein to slow digestion, these foods pass through the system quickly and fail to keep hunger under control. As a result, cravings return soon after eating, increasing overall calorie intake throughout the day. Diet drinks and sugar-free products can also interfere with progress in less obvious ways. Even without calories, artificial sweeteners can confuse the brain and increase the desire for sweet flavors. This keeps the reward system activated and makes whole, natural foods feel less satisfying by comparison. For some people, these sweeteners may also disrupt gut bacteria, which can affect appetite regulation and metabolism. Marketing plays a powerful role in this problem. Words like fitness, light zero sugar, and healthy create trust, causing people to ignore ingredient lists and portion sizes. Over time, reliance on these products shifts attention away from real, nourishing food. Instead of simplifying weight loss, these products often complicate it by keeping blood sugar unstable and hunger signals unreliable, making the journey more frustrating and slower than it needs to be. Sustainable weight loss becomes far more achievable when the focus shifts from restriction to removal of foods that actively work against the body. Instead of constantly counting calories or relying on extreme discipline, progress accelerates when trigger foods are eliminated and replaced with options that support natural fat burning. When insulin levels remain stable and blood sugar doesn't spike repeatedly, the body feels safe enough to access stored fat for energy. Hunger becomes more predictable, energy levels improve, and the urge to snack mindlessly begins to fade. Whole, nutrient-dense foods play a key role in this process because they provide fiber, protein, and healthy fats that slow digestion and keep you full longer. These foods send clear signals to the brain that the body has been properly fed, reducing cravings and emotional eating. When meals are built around real ingredients rather than processed ones, metabolism functions more efficiently and hormonal balance improves naturally. Another important shift happens mentally. When the body is nourished correctly, willpower becomes less necessary. Food decisions feel easier, and consistency no longer feels like a constant battle. This is why many people experience rapid improvement once they remove sugary, refined, and ultra-processed foods from their routine. Weight loss stops feeling forced and starts feeling like a natural response to better choices. Patience also becomes easier to maintain when progress is steady and sustainable. Instead of dramatic ups and downs, the body gradually releases fat while preserving energy and muscle. Over time, these habits become part of a lifestyle rather than a temporary diet. When trigger foods are minimized and supportive foods become the norm, weight loss is no longer about punishment or deprivation, but about alignment with how the body is designed to function for long-term health and balance.